Good morning, everyone. It's just sage there on the tail end. Chapter 7. How does God, how is he raising a child? So I got, see these? These are elephant ear stems. Lindy came over and she brought me these, and she brought me some dried ones that they need to go in the freezer. Well, she pointed to the freezer, so I put them in, looked at her, and she said, yep. And then she laid these out here. And then Tony, my friend, who brings Lindy over here, she comes and she gets a lot of my manure, loves it, and I don't think she'd ever come over here without bringing something. Anyway, so what am I going to do with these? Now, Tony says they don't have much taste, but he says, I read up on it, they're really nutritious. I'm going, okay. Well, I don't know anything about this. And Lindy, of course, goes on and on and on and on and on in Chinese, and I'm looking at her and going, oh, gotta Google it. Find out, what's going on with that, right? So she brings me all this stuff that I'm going, man, what a blessing to know about all these plants and what's edible and what's not. So here they are, elephant ears. So of course I got all them stems as well. And then the bulbs are also edible and taste just like potatoes, supposedly. I've never eaten one, actually. And this year, look at the size of that leaf. There's more over there. And then look at the, oh, I can't see for the, I got some huge, and there's one. Loofahs in here. First year I'm growing these. And, of course, a loofah, did not know that either before, is edible when it is in a small state like this. Yeah, okay. And then the long beans. Okay. How does God raise a child? God raises a child. These are Chinese or Asian long beans. Let's see. Oh my gosh, I've got one in there. I'm not kidding. That's 4 feet long. See that? Very nutritious. There's very little that is attacking the leaves. See that? There's something that chews on a little bit, but these leaves are really leathery, which isn't something that the bugs go for very much. So the plant, this plant's been in the ground here now for about 4 months, and it's still producing. Still, I just picked a whole lot of them, but still producing. And then I had to pull him back a little because Maverick got to him. So another one that she introduced me to, which is a really hardy vegetable. You get a lot of yield of just a few plants. You know, if you're talking just your family, and it's bug resistant, it's mildew resistant, or fungus resistant. Just an amazing, yeah. How does God raise a child? He's going to raise you according to the times, I think. Here's another one. This is the okra. Look how beautiful that looks right now. Yes, there's some of them got away from me, but I didn't want to pick them and then not eat them. Hope there's some that I can pick right now. They are very good pickled. But some of these got away from me, a lot of them actually, more than ever any other year. But I think there's a reason for it. I need some good new seed off of this. So this will be great to have that. And then I can start with a real fresh batch next year. And to let it go like this and really dry up and just give all the strength from the plant into making more seed on the inside of these pods is a really, really good thing. Yeah. Anyway, so there's a few. I will go around, and here is the plantain. Oh, I'm in the way again. That I will also, this is like psyllium husk, and I'm going to I'm going to go around pretty soon and collect all of that. And I use that in as a spice. I roast it a little bit. I mean, I put it in the oven. Look at those two over there. What a doggy life here. You want to come? You too? Well, come on, hurry it up. Oh, someone is hungry over there. Toodaloo, toodaloo, toodaloo. Ah, would God, how does God raise a child? There you go. God raises us to be disciples of His. Look at that. That came from this big old pile that tree service brought us in. And then Paul and James, they cut it all up. We'll cut this much up. And then my son's going to come help to get it split. See our wood splitter there? Yeah, that's where I cramped my finger in. Whew, was that a mess? No, I didn't go to the doctor. I taped it. I could see the bone through it. I taped it and used the comfrey and I used the yarrow to stop the bleeding, which it did immediately. And well, just about. Then I taped it up just to start with. I just taped it up, put my glove back on, and went and finished the job. And then I took care of it afterwards. And yeah, that comfrey, it's got alcohol in it, and it was painful. And then I put some triple antibiotic on, taped it up, wrapped it up, and it healed up just fine. I was worried. It's actually this finger right here. Oh. Isn't sure. Oh. This finger right here, you can still see there how it had split open. Battle wounds. My battle wounds from the farm. Oh. I brought my cup of coffee with me. Oh, you threw your bowl out again, huh? All right. Chapter 7, Part 2. How does God raise His children? I think that when Jesus chose His disciples per se, and all we hear about is the ones that actually became His disciples. Okay, easy, boy, easy. It's not going any faster. Back up, easy, easy. Oh, goodness sakes, buddy. He may have come across many more that in a way He called and just didn't get a response. And that could be as well for many different reasons, of which one is they had responsibilities per se they weren't willing to leave behind. I mean, have you guys ever thought of some of them disciples had families? They just left them behind. Children just left them behind. Well, yeah, but at that time it was necessary. Really? There weren't enough single guys at that time that Jesus could have, drafted? things like that? The reason I think about things like that is because I wonder on how much suffering, how much discontent. Okay, hey buddy, here me, come on now. Everybody that hungry? You guys all look so fat. With some of the choices that were made, and then what is the foundation of that? Oh, come on. Or are the stories on how Jesus got his disciples correct? What do we actually know? That was 2,000 plus years ago. So I could very well see that, maybe not everything is quite as cut and dry there, number one. Number two, if Jesus was raised by God, right, as his only son, per se, I can't see God expecting decisions from Jesus to tear families apart. Could one of the disciples that was there, did some of the families that they left behind starve to death? Did children die because they decided to follow Jesus exclusively? Is that possible? Would God do that? Would God raise a son to do that? Yeah. Okay. So, having said that, when we think on how children are raised by parents with certain ideologies, that are, could be hurting others out there, is that part of God's fortune? Is that something that God would look upon, the parents, even though everything goes well, this, that, yet they're being taught, for example, to shoot a gun for defense? I'm just using that as an example. Now, anybody out there goes, yeah, guns are bad. Just stop right there, okay? That's not why I'm bringing this up. It takes a whole body, okay? A whole body of people, a whole family, a whole tribe, a whole nation, and the whole world to understand this properly. Number one thing, what if there were a war, but nobody would show up for it? Oh, right? What if there are a gazillion kilos of cocaine and heroin and I don't know what out there sitting available for you to come and get for free, yet nobody shows up? Right. So some people might watch this, go, yeah, that'll never happen. And why not? If nobody shows up for any of these drugs, then guess what? There's no need to traffic as much in the illegal way. Of course, the pharmaceutical companies need them opiates too. That's just, and again, how is it being used? I know that there is a legit need for it in real terrible circumstances, in an accident where someone is in so much pain, this and I don't know what. And, but again, I've seen that. I've seen that when I was a dentist assistant, on how young people, 14, 15, 16 years old, come in for a root canal and then go home and we're giving so many pills of something. I'm going, why are you giving them that? They're young people. They can tolerate a little pain. Give them something less lethal than what they are being given, because the dentist profits from, okay, whatever. Where is the mind of a dentist to give a young person the amount of pills for that. I had all 4 of my wisdom teeth pulled. I was in my early 20s. All 4 of them at the same time. And I was also breastfeeding, so I didn't want. Oh, I held out. Oh my God, I was in so much pain. I'm going, oh. And my husband at the time, he comes and he says, look, I just did some, it's not sweet yet. I did reading on that, and there's only 1% of that goes into the breast milk, and only a 0.00 something that actually will end up in the child. So you're okay. Just take 1. So I did. Oh, I walked on a cloud, but pain was gone. I couldn't, dear me. And then I took 1 more the next morning. 2. So I had 2 out of the 24 that were prescribed. 2. Why? Why is it that there is this overabundance of painkillers out there that people do not need? So, I went, then another example, again, with a dentist. I had a young man here. He was just about 18, 19. And we went, he had a bad tooth, and it needed to come out, but it was abscessed. So we went, they gave him an antibiotic and wanted to give him another heavy-duty painkiller. I'm going, no. And he wouldn't be able to get in for another 4 months. But they were going to fill the prescription for him until then. Well, first of all, if he's getting the antibiotics, then that should help with the abscess, take care of some of the infection. Well, then, he won't be in as much pain anymore until then. I said, no, since I had some experience, I said, look, how about we just go with some ibuprofen, or the Tylenol 3, and just, And they looked at me like I was going to abuse this boy because I want him to be in pain. So I turned to him and said, well, you're old enough. I said, let me ask you, you want to be on these pills? And maybe, in 4 months, I guarantee you'll be hooked on them. Because you're a young person, that's what's going to happen. Or you want to go with mine. He says, he looked at me, and let's see, what choice do I make? But he had a choice. He had a choice. Well, he went for I think I'll go with that sounds good. That young man now has a family and an amazing life, and he's an amazing young man. With maybe someone else, this young man could be dead today. He's got to be 32, 33 now. Yeah. There. So, how do you think you'll be? Hang on. How do you think God raises his children? How do you think Jesus truly chose his disciples? And for what purpose? For what purpose? To save people. God raises his children out there right now. If you feel called or you want to be a disciple of God, on the side of God, be that armor for God, you will want to save people, save lives. And how do we do that? Start teaching people what they're wanting. What they're wanting out there isn't just destroying their own life. It is destroying other people's lives. In other nations, it is destroying whole nations. Destroying whole nations. The want for drugs in this country. The want. It isn't, there's so much coming illegally across the border, this and that, and of course big government's all involved in it, this and that. No doubt, that is true. But if the people didn't want it, it wouldn't exist. If the people didn't want it in this country, in certain other countries around the world, where we're so rich, this, now, got all them programs available. I tell you, every drug addict and alcoholic in this country is better taken care of than a child in need. I guarantee you that right now. And yet they're complaining, we don't have it. We're probably the only country that has anonymous meetings for millionaires that were millionaires and then lost all their money due to who knows what, and now they got to go to anonymous meetings because they lost all their millions, and now they're going, oh my. You get it? Got to be the only country. I mean, first time I ever heard that, going, well, I heard it all now. Absolutely heard it all now. Gotta go feed the pigs. Hang on, buddy. I'm coming. Come on, girl. So when you are out there, someone goes, well, we have to take everybody, and I agree, everybody has, we have to take care of our, okay, whatever. If you are someone who says, well, I want everything legalized, so I can do whatever I want, because, hey, guess what, there's enough programs out there that will take care of me. I want you to remember, too, if you are someone that is illegally advocating, taking, selling drugs to other young people out there, all people often are selling to young people, this and that. I want you to remember that you are not just doing that in your own surroundings. Number one, suddenly now, you are going to be responsible for a lot of people's lives. Number two, you are also a part of destroying nations in this world. Because drugs have become such a big deal in these nations that they are controlled by people who don't care who they kill or hurt, as long as the money flows. And that then becomes, for many of them there, a part of their survival. That's how my family survives, by selling drugs, by being a part of growing them, by sex trafficking girls and women. You get that? So when you, that's another one. When you get into, first of all, why does there have to be any movie out there where naked people are doing their thing? Why? What's that for? What is that for? Except for getting you excited in a certain area then that you want something else. It goes from there to a book that's really explicit. What's that? 50 Shades of Grey. I've never read it. I was at the library, and there was this going, this is such a big book. Let me see. I read one page. I brought it up to the counter. I said, what is this book doing in a library, in a public library? That should be in some kind of a shop where they sell sex toys, this and that. That does not belong in a public library. Oh, I'm such a prude. Oh, well, but people can. Yeah, well, what are you advocating when you do that? Did God really raise you like that? That's how God raised you. Who's raising you, actually? Hang on, guys. I know, I'm getting all in. So here it is. I want you to remember when you cuss and curse, when you in any way support, now excited about certain books and movies and series, and where that's all in it, which there are plenty. I think you would really like the series Weeds. Some of you are going to start laughing. Yeah, well, I watched one episode, not even, got to that, I'm going, why would they think? Oh, so, well, how am I raised? How was I raised? I get up every morning and I try to save the world. Every morning. And it amazes me that's how I was raised. By God. I love all the support I'm getting. Yeah, not really. They're going, let us out already. Come on, what's up here? How much you guys want today, huh? We're just getting started here, so we don't want too much out there. Have a bite. Okay. How God raises us as children. And then in some ways we feel called. Man, what am I, nuts? God, I must have narcissism coming out of every orifice I have to think I'm going to get up every morning and try to save the world again. Well, that's how I feel. Why, you think I can't do that? No, I can't. There's got to be two or more so God can be present and worship. Have a lesson this snap. All right? Well, I got 1, 2, 3. No one can do it all alone. It's just not going to happen. But to start to realize that if you own a gun for self-protection, to protect your family, then you have an unnatural desire already that you want to go out there and you want to kill someone. That's what you want to do. Oh, so no. Okay. Stop. Just saying, why do you really, truly have one? I said, if nobody would have that desire, we wouldn't need any guns. Guns that are designed to shoot people. I think it comes in handy when you go hunting. Well, that's just, and good hunters, with a good clean shot, that animal won't suffer. Okay? But there's food on the table. I can't eat a human. Yeah, some do. I don't want to do that. Makes you sick in the head. Yeah, okay. Just saying. So with anything else, it's the same thing. So again, we're not just, when we do certain things, we're not just harming ourselves or others around us. Okay, wait a minute. Selling certain things like drugs, for example, or guns, for example. That's just, making money. That's making money. Right? That's just my income. But you should remember, who is it affecting? Who is it affecting all? And what do you become responsible for? And why is it that we have so many people want to come into this country illegally or hang out, all them thousands and thousands and tens of thousands of people? Why? Why don't they stay in their own country? Because this country, in a way, is responsible for destroying their countries. No, yeah. Think a little bit deeper. I am not here to go and just stroke someone's hair and go, or shoulder, oh, you're good, you're doing great, oh, this is just. God is raising his children to say, hey, if you want to be a part of my lineage, want to be a part of my fortunes that I have to give to you, then please realize what you need to say no to. Don't be a part of. Don't want it anymore. You see? And then things slowly will start to change. They will. Why is it so difficult? Why is that so difficult to understand for people like that? Every leader including our Father in heaven, you ready? Needs his followers. Needs people to stand next to him. Not on top of him. Let's see. How many people you think Jesus can pile up on his shoulders? Maverick happy to be out. Runs right into the pig. Pig's okay. Oh, you guys need to be combed out again. Watch out. Oh, we're not liking that hay too much, I see. Oh, well, that means you're still getting enough out there. Well, anyway. Oh, you don't mind, huh? Come on, let's go. Let's go. It seems Satan has a gazillion followers out there. And his disciples have, in many ways, fixed it somehow in their heads. They're all doing the right thing. Not realizing how much destruction comes with their righteous thinking and doing, right? And then there's God, our Father in heaven, who's desperately looking. Don't you think it is odd that if you're called, right? You're chosen, the chosen ones, this and that, right? Seems to be something that God needs. Something he's looking for. I never seen anything where it says, oh, Satan's looking for the called ones, the chosen ones. Right? He doesn't need to. They flock to him like flies to honey. It's true. If you think a little bit about what I just told you, you know it's true. If no one in this country said, if everybody said, okay, we're done. At least for starters, no more. No more illegal drugs. We don't want it. And no one goes for it. Yeah, well, that will happen. Exactly. But that's one of the problems. Why we're having things the way they are at the border. Because with our wants, with our selfish desires, we have destroyed in this country, other countries around the world have destroyed poorer nations. Poorer nations where drugs are grown easily. And then these cartels are happening with these very destructive people as well. But then again, how many have they hired? Okay. It's an ongoing myriad of poop piling up. And then the ones that are kind of trying to, pile themselves up on top of Jesus' shoulders, right? Poor dude. Reminds me of the story of Yertle the turtle, right? Where he gets up on this rock, and then he feels like a king, and then he feels like a king. Then he gets some more turtles. Say, okay, come on, I need to stand up on top of you, and until and more piles up more and more and more, and he just becomes more and more. Oh yeah, feels like a king. Don't we feel like that? When we've become saved or blessed, or I don't know what else, we're suddenly out there. Yep. Oh yeah. Not realizing that we're standing on top of so many things, and all the way down at the bottom is Jesus going, how you doing up there? I'm kind of hurting down here. How much actually has changed out there since the last 2,000 years? Just asking. Just asking. So, in any case, that is part 2, chapter 7. How is God raising his children? Do we like it? Most of us don't like it. So we run to the opposition. Yeah? Not really interested in that fortune. I'd rather have that fortune. And whose fortune is that? Yes. Whew. Yeah. And yet, there are so many religions out there. So many Christians out there. Yeah, where are we at? Interesting? I think it's interesting. Does it matter that someone like me kind of goes, hey, that's interesting? Does it? Is it going to change anything? I don't know. But as long as I'm alive, I'm going to get up every morning to save the world again and you. No, I'm not going to do that with a gun in my hands. I'm not going to do that with drugs in my system. I'm going to try and advocate clean language. It's a start. It's a start. Right? Yes. Well, that's it for today. God's love and blessings always, and I will talk to y'all another time.